There's a story that's been trending in the personal injury world that proves just how dangerous fine print can be. It's about a construction worker in Texas who thought he was starting a fresh job, only to discover later that the paperwork he signed would cost him almost everything. So here's what happened. This worker was hired for a big project. On his first day, like everyone else, he was handed an employment contract. It looked routine, name, details, terms of employment. He signed it quickly, not realizing what was tucked away deep inside. He thought it was just another piece of HR paperwork. Weeks later, while working with heavy machinery, everything went wrong. The equipment malfunctioned, and in a split second, his life was turned upside down. He suffered multiple fractures, a serious back injury, and he knew he wasn't going back to work anytime soon. Normally, you'd expect him to file a personal injury claim and get compensation for medical bills, lost wages, and long-term care. But that's when the twist came. When his lawyer reviewed the case, they discovered a hidden arbitration clause in his contract. And here's the thing about arbitration. It's not like going to court. There's no jury, no judge in a public courtroom, and no real transparency. Instead, disputes are handled privately, often in panels where the company has far more influence than the injured worker. So instead of standing in front of a jury who might have seen the full scope of his suffering, he was forced into this private system. And even though his attorney fought hard, presenting his medical records, eyewitness testimony, and proof of faulty equipment, the panel only awarded him a fraction of what he needed, barely enough to pay the hospital, let alone cover the years of treatment and lost wages ahead of him. News of this case spread quickly, and the reaction was intense. Personal injury attorneys across the country said this wasn't rare at all. It was just another example of corporations using contracts to shield themselves from accountability. One lawyer even said, arbitration isn't about fairness. It's about protecting powerful companies from the people they harm. And then came the public outrage. On social media, hashtags like #enforcedarbitration trended for days. People started sharing their own experiences. Some said they signed gym memberships or medical waivers without realizing they had agreed to give up their right to sue. Others were shocked to learn that even simple online purchases often come with arbitration buried in the terms of service. Of course, not everyone agreed. Some business voices defended arbitration, saying it was faster, cheaper, and less messy than a public trial. But critics kept pointing out the obvious. If it really benefited both sides equally, why do corporations push it so hard? The bigger issue is this. Arbitration isn't just in employment contracts anymore. It's everywhere, from nursing homes to hospitals, phone plans, even your favorite apps. Chances are you've already signed away more rights than you realize. And that's what makes the Texas worker's story so important. He thought he was just signing a job contract. In reality, he unknowingly gave up one of his most powerful protections, the right to a fair trial in front of a jury. So, what can we learn from this? The lesson is simple. Never, ever sign a contract without reading the fine print. If you don't understand it, ask questions. If it feels rushed, slow down. And if you can, have a lawyer look over it. Because once you sign, it's legally binding. And you may have just given away rights you can never get back. Think about this. What would you do if you were in his shoes? Injured, unable to work, facing a mountain of bills, and then told that your only chance of compensation is through a process stacked against you? Would that feel like justice to you? This case is a wake-up call, not just for workers, but for everyone. Before you sign anything, whether it's for a job, medical treatment, or even something as small as a subscription, stop and think. What am I agreeing to? What rights could I be giving up? So let me leave you with this question. Should arbitration clauses even be legal in personal injury cases? Or should every victim have the right to a public trial? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this story eye-opening, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell icon.